years ago. We see Carla and her friend Hank rush downstairs as they continue to hear the loud gunfire and shouting. As they run down, several walkers dressed in combat gear were attacking their comrades. Carla and Hank could hear the growling and gunfire as they finally came down the stairs. They looked in horror as the soldiers were all struggling with the infected. Carla and him rushed to their aid, prying them off as they pulled their guns and fired into them. Carla rushed to her squad leader as he was getting grabbed by an infected. She rushed forward, shooting it in the head as the other soldiers continued to open fire. "Close the door!" someone shouted. Hank and several others went to go clear the front entrance of the dead as Carla stayed behind. She fired radically as the dead were coming from every corner. She used the last ammunition from her rifle and switched to her sidearm. As she dropped every infected, she saw she kept shooting until nothing was left standing. In the front, the soldiers closed the door as Carla breathed heavily, exhausted from all the killing. "What did you do?" she heard. Carla was covered in blood and looked at Janice. She was confused and looked all over as she saw one of the bodies on the ground. She saw the lieutenant lying on the ground with a bullet hole in the back of his head. The soldiers came back to the horrifying sight. "What the hell happened?" they asked. Carla was disturbed and unable to respond. As she looked at the corpse, they continued to call out to her. In the woods, Rachel and Tyler looked as a group of CRM soldiers were loading some CRM bodies onto the back of a truck. She saw some of them being put down as they watched from the woods as they loaded their dead onto the back of the trucks. She got an idea. "I'm sorry, Tyler. Head back to Georgie and the twins. Stay here. Don't follow me," she ordered. What are you?" he said as Rachel quickly hunched over and ran into the street. Tyler freaked out in shock as the soldiers were about to turn around. Rachel got to the back of the last truck. She then quietly climbed into the back opening of the tarp as Tyler continued to look on, freaking out. Rachel fully climbed into the back of the truck with the bodies. She covered her nose, gagging at the awful smell. The soldiers finished loading their dead and radioed, letting the captain know that they were heading back. Tyler watched, unable to do anything, as the soldier wrapped the tarp and drove off in their Humvees. "Oh, Rachel, what the hell have you done?" he asked. In the present, in the woods, Victor is walking by himself, heading through a path. He then sees something on the ground. "What is this?" he says, bending down, touching it. "Is that blood?" he asks, holding his bloody fingers. He stands back up and walks forward, holding his knife. He takes a deep breath. "You can do this," he tells himself, as he moves forward. Back in the clearing, Benjamin looks on in horror. Jeff was holding Dina hostage as a group of walkers growled loudly in a massive ditch behind them. "Jeff, you need to step away from those walkers. They're right behind you. If you don't move right now," he warned. "Stop talking!" he snapped. Benjamin looked on. Jeff's eyes were dilated. He looked delusional, and he sounded like it too. "Jeff, why are you doing this?" he asked. "Because I have nothing left," he told him. "There's nothing left for me. I ruined everything. I can't make up for what I've done, so there's no point in trying," he stated. "I'm scared. I don't want to die," Dina said. "Hey, Dina, look at me. Everything is gonna be okay," Benjamin reassured her. "Stop lying to her! Everything is not going to be okay! Not for her! Not for you! Not for me! Not for anybody! I thought it would be the day we met last winter. I think back of what could have happened if you never found us that day. Maybe only May would have died. But I could have still had Karen and the boys," he said sadly. "Jeff, What happened to them wasn't her fault, he told him. You're right. It was the Takers. Xavier, her father. Yours! He shouted. She's innocent! She had nothing to do with the death of Jace! I was there when he died! You were. Oh, Jace, my boy. I miss you so much, he cried. Jeff, your family loved you. What happened to them was a tragic accident, but they were avenged. Why are you killing the Takers? Xavier's family, he asked. Because if my family couldn't survive, why should his? Or any of his people? You brought them into our group, and then they murdered my wife. You split up from my son, and he was murdered here, in this very house. Everything that happened because you made the wrong decisions, and it costed me my family. I thought it would get better after I killed him, but it only got worse, he stated. Him? With who? Benjamin asked. With Brandon. Benjamin's eyes widened as Jeff continued telling his dark sin. I was so angry. When Kyle told me how Brandon was the one who captured my son that night, I wanted revenge. I didn't sleep or eat. Karen kicked me out of the house. I was dead to my last child. My family was destroyed, and I figured if I killed him, maybe I could save the rest of my family from the Takers. So I did it. That night they attacked. When Brandon walked outside, I saw him leaving your house, and then I watched him for a while. No one would have seen me. I went for it and stabbed him right in the side. I wanted to kill all the Takers. I wanted them out of our group, every last one. But then I saw you holding his body in the fire after the attack. I saw how devastated you were, and then I started having regrets about what I did. I tried to talk with John about it, and he convinced me not to tell anyone he was bit. So I decided he was right. Sometimes it's better to keep secrets to protect the group. Benjamin was horrified. You killed him? He asked. I took out Brandon because I wanted revenge against everyone from the group, but I decided that if you weren't going to do what needed to be done, then I would, he stated. You always told us that we were supposed to kill everyone who wasn't us, all our enemies. You killed every last Rager, but we let the Takers live when they were just as evil. And now that you know all this, I know you're gonna kill me, or at least try. When I saw Talia and Eddie by themselves, something just took over me. And then, when I was guarding Dina with the others, this voice kept telling me I was going to be the one to kill her. So I killed the others. You wouldn't understand, he stated. Benjamin then took a deep breath. Jeff, you don't think I understand? He asked. I want revenge on so many people, and they're all dead. I've taken so many lives, but I've also turned my back on the ones I love the most to keep them safe. I'm sorry that I couldn't save Karen, or May, or Jace, or Victor. I tried, and I failed. I failed in so many ways, but I did what I could for the group, just like how you did the best you could for your family. They'll never come back, but it's not too late to be the man that they knew, he told him. Jeff cried. I miss them so much. I can't do this anymore without them. Meanwhile, Tyler was running as fast as he could in the woods, freaking out when he suddenly stopped. He saw that a large group of men had taken over their camp. He aimed his gun as everyone turned to him. And who are you? Patrick asked, turning to him. In his office space, Captain Wells listens to the phone recording. You were the one person who was bringing the real me back after I lost my parents. And now Brandon. But you don't deserve to shoulder my demons. I do just ask one thing. Please, live your life. Don't let anyone run your life for you. Please stay alive for me. I'll never forget you, Rachel Thompson. Please don't hate me for this. Goodbye. He finishes. In his office space, Captain Wells listens to Benjamin's phone message. Interesting, he said, putting it down. Lieutenant Mitchell and Private Campbell entered the room. You wanted to see us, sir? She asked. I did. You two have had a rough week, he told them. Do you two know how I ended up in the Civic Republic? He asked. I'm afraid not, sir, she told him. What about you two? Private? He asked. Rosalind spoke first. A U.S. Marine brought me and my mother into the city, she told him. I was one of the National Guards stationed inside the city before the bombing, Mitchell told him. The captain nodded. I was one of the few remaining NSW active officers left inside the city. Naval Special Warfare Command? She asked. That's right. When the dead started coming and the bombs dropped, I was one of the first to take command in the city as it was falling. I lost a lot of good men under my orders. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. We were on the brink of extinction, but we were able to keep the last remaining city on this planet from falling into complete darkness. A light in the darkness. A lot of people died, but we adapted. And if humanity is to prevail this age of extinction, I'll see it done. The deaths we've suffered, though, will be tough. But one day, humanity will look at us, and they will thank us for their survival. Generations will not remember us personally, but they will be grateful for the day when we ended the age of the infected. This will not last forever. We will rise again, this time stronger. It will end, but the path to change is not paid for by good intentions. It's paid through blood and sacrifice. The Iraq War, the American Civil War. No one will remember those wars 100 years from now. Humanity will not even remember the dead. They will remember who led humanity back into the light centuries from now. There's nothing else. Humanity must survive. Isn't that worth any price? He asked. Of course, Captain Wells. There is nothing more important than humanity's fate, Mitchell told him. Then tell me, Lieutenant, why the hell did you fail your second mission under my command? He asked, scaring the two women. The lieutenant was terrified. With all due respect, sir, she said before he interrupted. With all due respect, you failed your mission on the bridge. Let an enemy sneak into our zone and disrupt our column extraction. You lost a dozen of our soldiers. Do you think, with all due respect, we'll do a damn thing for them or the other lives you've lost hours ago in that town? Do you think the dead will forgive your incompetence? He asked her. No, sir, she stated. No, they won't, and neither will I. You are hereby stripped of my command and your rank. I will determine the length of your further punishment when we leave the zone. You are dismissed, he told her. The female officer looked devastated but nodded her head as she turned back and left his office. Do you think I was too hard on her, Private? He asked. It's not for me to say, sir. I have no opinion or right to question your decisions, the young soldier told him. That's right. But what I hate more than those who question my orders are those who fail to follow them, whether intentional or not, he said eerily. Elsewhere, Patrick was interviewing Tyler while the twins sat down. Have you noticed how many people we've run into on the road? Hilda asked. No talking, Chris told her. I'm just saying it's weird how much weird stuff happens on the road compared to staying home, she continued. Look, kid, it's obvious you're not one of these soldiers, but you are wearing their uniform. So why don't you tell us where you got it and what you're doing here, he asked. We're just passing through, he told him. This happens to be Morgan County, where we tracked them. I find that hard to believe. Are you protecting them? Patrick asked. Ha! Hell no! Those bastards murdered my sister! Tyler stated angry. Wait, Rachel was murdered? When? Hilda asked. Tyler and the others looked at her. I think he had another sister, Midge corrected her. Hilda was stunned at her stupid outburst. Sorry, I didn't know, she apologized as Tyler facepalmed himself. Rachel, huh? And where is she? He asked. Tyler didn't say anything. Look, kid, my patience is running thin, he told him. Your patience can go to hell. I'm not telling you where my sister is. I don't even know you, he said back. Patrick was getting angry. All right, why don't we all calm down? I'm sure we can all form a compromise, Georgie stated, trying to de-escalate the situation. Chris pulled Patrick to the side. Why don't you let me talk to him? He asked. 5 minutes, he said. Chris sat down next to Tyler. What's your name? He asked. Does it matter? He asked. Fine. My name is Chris. We're not here to rob you or your sister or your friends, he states. Then why are you here? Tyler asked him. That uniform you're wearing is the same one a dangerous group wear. Just a few hours ago, they attacked me and my people, killed some of my friends, and took my eldest son, he stated, as Tyler looked on interested. They have his son too, he stated. They even have some other girl with them. I don't know, Carly or something. This tough fellow who saved us was looking for her. Said she was his best friend, he told him. Tyler got surprised. Wait, was her name Carla? He asked. Maybe, he told him. This tough guy. Did he have a uniform, just like mine? Blue eyes, brown hair? He asked. Yeah, why? Chris asked. That's Benjamin! I know him! Where is he? Is he okay? Tyler asked. Well, I'll be. That's interesting. Yeah, he's alright, for the most part, he told him. Can you take me to him? Tyler asked. I could, but I need something from you, he said as Tyler looked uneasy. Please, kid. For everyone we love and care about, Chris asked. In the woods, Victor heard something and goes toward the noise. He then sees people in the woods. He comes closer, seeing Benjamin and his father. Dad? He whispered. Jeff turned and looked, seeing his son. He was in complete shock. He was dumbfounded. Son? He whispered, happy, as he loosened his grip on Dina. Without a thought, Benjamin grabbed a knife from his back holster and quickly threw it as fast as he could, hitting Jeff right in the neck with it. Victor screamed, running forward, No! As Benjamin ran as fast as he could. Dina screams as Jeff, dying of blood loss, began to pull her down into the ditch of walkers. I got you! Benjamin shouted as he grabbed Dina's arm. Jeff fell into the herd as he landed in the ditch. They began surrounding and biting into him, tearing his skin and flesh off. Benjamin shielded Dina as he pried the walker's arm off her as he pulls the scared and traumatized girl to safety. He covered her from the horrible sight as the walkers continued eating Jeff, disemboweling him. It's okay. You're safe now, he told her when he looked, seeing Victor. Dad, what have you done? Victor asked. Benjamin saw him. Victor? He asked, confused. Victor started to walk forward and bent over, picking something up. Victor, no! He screamed as he tried to shield Dina. Victor screamed, firing his gun. Murder! As several bullets were fired, hitting Benjamin as he dropped Dina and fell into the ditch of the dead. Benjamin landed in the pit. As he grabbed onto his arm, he saw it was bleeding from a graze. He looked, seeing the walkers that were eating Jeff were turning towards him now. Benjamin grabbed his arm and crawled away from them as Victor ran forward. Dina ran as fast as she could in the woods as Victor looked, not seeing Benjamin as the dead reached out for him on the top. You can't run from me! You're not getting away! He screamed. He then got an idea and then looked back on the woods. Hey! He shouted for her. Dina! Dina! Come back here! It's okay! I'm not going to hurt you! He shouted. In the woods, Dina was running as fast as she could before tripping. She began to cry before seeing several walkers in the distance. She got up and hid behind a tree. The little girl shaked, terrified, as the walkers growled and looked for her. She then heard another sound. Come here, Dina. It's me, Victor. I'm not going to hurt you, I promise, he told her. She covered her face, trying not to cry loudly, before she was grabbed by the arm. She shrieked, hitting Victor as he pulled on her arm. Ow! Let me go! Let go! She begged. Stop! Stop struggling! He ordered, when suddenly a black figure tackled him to the ground. She slammed down, clenching her arm as she looked up. Dina, run back to the house! That way! Benjamin shouted, pointing in the woods. Dina got up and ran as fast as she could as Victor reached for his gun, but Benjamin was ready for him. Benjamin moved and hit his arm, disarming him as Victor grabbed his arm. Benjamin screamed as Victor squeezed his busted arm. Victor then kicked Benjamin off of him as he quickly grabbed a rock, throwing it, but Benjamin blocked it with his other arm as Victor pulled out and swung his knife. Benjamin caught it as it was an inch from his neck. Victor screaming, trying to kill him as Benjamin began overpowering him and pushed the knife back, headbutting him. Benjamin gets the knife, but Victor quickly moves as the walkers come, separating them. Victor grabs the gun and takes aim, firing it at Benjamin, who moves out of the way. "You took everything from me, and now you're gonna die today! You ruined my life!" he shouted. But Benjamin uses a walker as a shield from the gunfire. "Your fire killed Brandon, Talia, and Eddie, and was gonna kill Dina too!" Benjamin shouted, pushing the walker and using it as a battering ram through the group. He got close enough and jumped forward, kicking Victor down to the ground. Benjamin ran for the gun, but Victor grabbed his leg, tripping him down as Benjamin jumped back, tackling Victor. He threw and landed a hard punch on him as a walker grabbed Benjamin's arm, biting it. Benjamin pulled it off of him as it failed to bite through his suit. As Victor got up and ran in the opposite direction, Benjamin struggled as he killed the walker and pushed the other ones away from him as he looked for the gun, and then where Victor was. Gunshots erupted as the walkers all got shot in their heads. Benjamin looked to see Sean, William, Dan, Alexa, and a couple of dogs. Benjamin was breathing heavily, clenching his bleeding arm. "What the hell took you guys so long?" he asked. Minutes later, Benjamin and the others looked and watched as the dogs couldn't pick up his scent. Victor was completely gone. Inside the house, the group was watching an injured Sarah and scared Dina on the couch. Benjamin was wrapping his shot arm. "How bad is it?" he asked. "I'll live," he stated. "I can't believe it was Jeff this whole time. After everything we've done for him, how could he just..." Sean asked, confused, as Benjamin turned to him. "He was broken, Sean. There was nothing left of him. He was just a husk. I should have seen it sooner. A lot less people would have been hurt," he said. "You can't blame yourself. Jeff made his own mistakes, and so did Victor," he told Benjamin. Benjamin nodded. "So, are we going to go after him?" Sean asked. "No, we can't. Right now, all that matters is getting Carla and the others back. Victor is no longer one of us, and we can't just stop everything to look for him," he stated. "Maybe some of us can stay here and look for him," he asked. "He tried to kill you," Sean defended. "He did, but right now, getting Carla and everyone back from those people is all that matters. We lost enough time as it is," Benjamin said, groaning as he got up. Back with the Humvee, Rachel continued to sit in the truck, trying not to get sick from the dead bodies inside of it. As the Humvee moved and made it inside, and parked it inside a garage, the soldiers finally got out. Rachel heard the guards talking, but couldn't make out what they were saying as one of the guards began to leave the room. As the tarp begins to move, Rachel covers herself with a body as someone moves the top covering. She takes her suppressed gun out and plays dead. As the soldier drags the body out, Rachel moves, aiming her gun as the soldier sees her, but it's too late. As she fires her gun, shooting him in the head, killing him instantly. The unsuspecting soldier falls backwards, completely dead, as blood starts pouring from his head to the floor. Rachel looks around, not seeing anyone else, and has a sigh of relief. She climbs out of the truck and takes a deep breath. "Oh God," she says, trying not to throw up from the previous smell. She bends down, taking the soldier's rifle, his walkie, and any remaining ammo and sidearms. She finds a baton on him and adds it to her belt. She looks some more and takes the gun and ammo from the soldier she killed. She then pulls out a key card with a 3-ring circle on it. She then looks around, seeing the same symbol on the wall. Rachel sighs, seeing the symbol as she pockets it. She then aims her gun, firing a shot into his head to stop him from turning. Afterwards, she grabs a hold of him and drags the man's body underneath the car, successfully hiding it. She notices the blood trail and gets an idea. She takes a rag and some ethanol and wipes the floor clean of his blood. She then tosses the rag back into the truck. She then walked to the door with her gun in hand, scared of what lied on the other side. "Okay, you can do this," she stated as she hesitated and grabbed the doorknob before walking into the hallway. Still in her cell, Carla watches with Peter and the others inside their cages. She looks, seeing Obadiah clenching his bleeding arm, as next to him was a scared-looking kid. She didn't recognize him very much, but regardless, it was sick and twisted that he was in here with them. She then watches as another person was taken out of his cell by the soldiers in black. Carla knew what was going to happen, but they didn't. As the soldiers held the man down, letting a walker bite into his shoulder, tearing his flesh off. Everyone looked on in horror, hoping the same wouldn't happen to them, as they took the crying man away, never to be seen from again. In the facility, Rachel carefully walks in a hallway, trying to remain inconspicuous as a group of soldiers walk past her. She then sees a sign that says bathroom and goes in it. When she enters the room, she notices and startles another soldier. "Oh, I'm sorry," she stated. Rachel looked as the soldier was shocked to see her. She looked upset. "Are you crying?" Rachel asked. Rosalind tried drying her face. "No, I'm fine," she stated. "Okay, well, I guess I'll just go then," she stated. "No, wait, please! You can't tell anyone," she begged Rachel. Rachel was confused as she turned her head. "I don't understand," she replied back. "I'm just stressed, It happens. If the captain hears about this, I don't want him or anyone getting the wrong idea, please," she begged. Rachel saw that this girl, several years older than her, looked terrified. She removed her helmet. "I won't tell anyone," she told her. "Really? You promise?" she asked. "I promise. I swear on my life," she told her. "Really? Wow, that means so much. Thank you," she thanks. "It's no problem." "Do you want to talk about it?" Rachel asked. "Oh, I know that we're achieving a future for humanity, but do you ever stop to think about the choices you made in your life? Whether or not they were the right ones, or if at some point something is going to hit you, and you're going to question where you went wrong?" she asked. "Absolutely," she tells her. "I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I let people walk all over me. I killed one of my best friends. I pushed 2 men that loved me away. I've killed people who didn't deserve it," she revealed. "Wow," she said, surprised. "Yeah. If you think you're awful, take a look at me," Rachel said. "And how do you cope? Is it really kill or be killed? How do you find the strength to keep going?" she asked. "Because I still have people that I care about, and I won't stop fighting until I see them again, and I know they're safe. I was close to my family before the fall. But after, I found a better one," she stated. "So you're saying that everything I do will be worth it?" she asked. "Not exactly. Only you can decide how much is worth sacrificing for the people you love. I gave up a lot of my morals in the last year for survival, but there has to be a line I won't cross. The world is cruel enough as it is. It doesn't need me to make it even worse. You have to decide if it's worth it. You decide how hard to fight for something. If you don't have faith in it, if you don't believe in it, then maybe find a goal where you can," she stated. Rachel then checked her watch. "Oh no, I have to go. I'm sorry," she says, leaving. "Thank you for the talk. It was nice meeting you," Rosalind said as Rachel quickly walked out of the door. While they were leading the horde in the woods, Manny and Kat run from the dead. "Why did we get stuck with the hard job?" he asked, seeing more dead coming at them. Manny got scared. "Oh," he says, when suddenly bullets fly, killing the dead in front of them, as Benjamin and Sean stand there after saving them. "Come on, keep moving," he stated. "How did you find us?" he asked. Sean petted Merle's head. "Merle could hear them for miles," he stated. "And besides, we're en route to the meetup," he shouted. "Great. Now can you help us more before they have dinner on us? Great. Now can you help us some more before they have us for dinner?" he asked, stabbing a walker in the head. Benjamin and Sean help them, as Kat mentioned that they should get out of the trees, but Benjamin tells her that they have to continue leading the horde through the woods, as the soldiers have the roads patrolled, and that they'll never see them in the woods, as the woods gave off cover. Benjamin congratulates them on keeping the horde busy for hours, and before asking them to take Sean back, Sean gets mad. "No way! I'm not going without you! You promised!" he shouted. "Alright, fine. We left the car not far from here," he said, throwing Mandy the keys. Go! Go meet up with Patrick and the others," he ordered. "When did this guy become the boss of us?" Manny asked, as Kat told him that for once to shut up. The duo ran in the opposite direction, as Benjamin, Sean, and Merle were left to take care of the horde all by themselves. "Together," Sean told him. "Alright, let's do this together," Benjamin affirmed. Sometime later, Benjamin and Sean ran from the woods into a town. Benjamin was clearing the way of dead for Sean, killing every walker in front. Benjamin then saw a tennis court and got an idea. "Stay here! We're gonna box them in that ring!" he shouted. Sean nodded and hid with Merle as Benjamin kept shouting at the dead. As they followed him into the ring, Benjamin walked to the other side and fired several flares on the ground to distract them. As the smoke gave him cover, Benjamin quickly climbed and jumped over the fence as Sean and Merle continued to watch. The herd followed like rats in the fence as Sean ran to the gate, closing it completely. Benjamin came running back. "That should hold him," Sean said, locking him up. Several minutes later, the two of them relaxed on the benches. "So we're really doing this?" he asked. "What do you mean?" Benjamin asked. "Attacking another group. It's always been the other way around. It never ends. We move from one set of bad guys to the next. I mean, how many people have you killed now?" Sean asked. Benjamin looked uneasy. 174, he told him. "Does that ever make you nervous?" he asked. "I mean, I've killed people too. I'm not afraid to kill people for our sake, but is this how it's gonna be all this time?" he asked. "Do you feel bad when you do it?" Benjamin asked. "Kind of," he told him. "Then you're still a good person, Sean. For me, I don't feel anything when I'm killing people. I've gotten used to, feeling like I'm breathing," he told him. "I know you sometimes think you're a monster, but you only do it to keep us safe," Sean defended. "I suppose we are going to get Carla back. I'll do whatever it takes," he stated. Sean looked confused. "So what happened with Jeff and Victor, I mean?" "Jeff was the one who killed Brandon back home. He killed Talia and Eddie as well, and was going to kill Dina too. I had to get rid of him," he stated. "Are you glad he's dead?" the boy asked. "Not at first. I was only concerned for Dina's safety, but afterwards, yes. I was very glad that I killed him. I hate him for what he did," he told him. "I hate Xavier for killing Hannah and John, but killing that family? Ben, if I ever kill people like that, I enjoy it. I want you to stop me," he asked. "Sean, that'll never happen," he told him. "You're a good boy." "I watched Gordon die. The man who owned the house, I watched him beg and die, being torn apart by his own family. And it's not just that. I didn't do anything. I caused it. I wanted to see it. I wanted him to suffer because I thought he killed Victor. And then after that, I mutilated his reanimated corpse as payback," he told him. "I'm worried this messed up world is messing me up too." "How do you know if you're too far gone? Too messed up in the head like Jeff or Victor?" Sean asked. "If they can lose themselves, what about me?" Jeff was completely lost. "But Sean, you're not messed up." "How do you know?" Sean asked. "Because do you remember when I killed Mortars? I didn't just kill him for what he did to our mothers. I tortured him, Sean, and I didn't stop. I enjoyed it. When I was undercover with the Takers, I brutally killed the men who were there when Xavier marked me. I tortured his brother, Greg, to death the night Jace died, and I enjoyed that too. I haven't really told you, Rachel, and the others this. All the times I've lost it killing Mortars, killing Damien, the Ragers, Greg, and Xavier. I enjoyed it, but there are times when I didn't enjoy it, like the soldiers back at the university or the outcasts. I've been dealing with this for a long time. I even let one of the soldiers live, a young girl around my age. I promise you, Sean, you're not in danger of going too far. I thought I was so many times, but you know what stops me from losing myself completely, he asked. Your strength? Sean asked. Benjamin smiles. No, it's you. It's Rachel, Tyler, and Rip. He stops. What? Sean asked. Sean, I have been delaying it for a while now. I have to tell you. Rebecca is dead, he told him. Sean lowered his head with a cold expression. Did they do it? He asked. Yes, it was them. I'm so sorry, Benjamin said. It's not your fault. You did what you could. It could have happened to any of us. You're not upset? He asked. I am. I'm just used to this, I guess, he stated. Sean, I promise, even though I won't let it happen, I promise to stop you from enjoying killing people, he told him. Just like you and the others have done for me all these years. A good while later, Benjamin and Sean see Chris, Manny, Kat, Patrick, and the others arrive. Good job with the horde, Patrick told him. Benjamin ignored him, seeing 3 women he didn't recognize. Benjamin walked over to them. Who are they? He asked, when he suddenly saw someone next to them. Tyler smiled happily at him as Benjamin runs up and hugs him tight, lifting him up. Tyler! Oh, thank God! Tyler hugged him. I knew you were alive! We knew it! He screamed. I'm so glad you're okay! Benjamin looked at him. Tyler, where's Rachel? He asked. Tyler didn't answer. How could he? Tyler, where is she? He asked, scared. She snuck inside one of the trucks. She's probably at their community, he told him. Benjamin's face sunk as he took a deep breath. Oh my God, Rachel, why? He asked before cursing over and over again. Everyone looked on as Benjamin branded a face of complete seriousness and determination. I'm going, he stated. Wait, what about the plan? Chris asked. We have it. We have people, guns, explosives, and a horde. You know what that means? He asked. What? Patrick asked. We're wiping them all out. All of them from the face of the earth, and getting back all our people, he stated. Benjamin then pulled out his gun and cocked it. Let's get to work, he ordered. As Victor walked all alone in the woods, he clenched his body, trying to move past a group of the dead coming towards him. Despite his injuries, he was able to overpower and outmaneuver and outrun them. He then hid in the woods as he walked for what seemed like hours. Suddenly, he saw something weird in the woods. It was a big bushel of branches and leaves. As he took a closer look, he grabbed one and tore it off, revealing a glass window underneath. He touched the glass and then saw what it was. He quickly removed all the branches and saw underneath was a CRM Humvee in great condition. He went around and opened it up, seeing bags of equipment, guns, ammo, and flares. Victor smiled, getting inside, claiming his newfound prize. Outside the facility, Benjamin was looking through his binoculars, staying hidden in the woods. He checked his watch. There's a lot of guards, and we're almost out of time, Benjamin stated. So we're doing this? Sean asked. Do we have a choice? Benjamin asked. Honestly, I feel sorry for them. They made the wrong enemy, Sean said, cocky. Benjamin smiled. They sure did. And now hell's coming for them, he said, holding a black device. 30 minutes prior, the soldiers bring a walker to Benjamin before holding it down, tying it off. Whoa, is this gonna get freaky? Manny asked. What exactly is your plan? Patrick asked. Simple, Benjamin said, taking out a black plastic box from his bag. What is that? Patrick asked. Just a little present for our friends, and this guy is gonna deliver it to them for us, he stated, putting it on him. So, once we're all in and have our people, what's the plan on getting out? That horde isn't gonna just let us through, he told Benjamin. Actually, they will, Benjamin told him. What, are you crazy? Patrick asked as Benjamin turned around, not saying a word. As the captain continued looking at the phone, when a soldier comes in, "Captain, permission to enter?" the soldier said, standing tall. "Granted," he said, putting the phone back inside a drawer. "Here's the list of aids you requested, sir," he said, handing it to him. "Thank you," he said, taking it. 71 test subjects. We've exceeded our given quota, he told him. "I'm sure the scientists will appreciate them at the RF," he stated. "They better. We've lost nearly half of all the soldiers to those hostile raiders." "Did Lieutenant Wilson come back with the deceased?" he asked. "Affirmative, sir," he replied. "Give these to the lieutenant. Tell everyone I'm rescinding all capture operations. From now on, we shoot to kill only. I will not have any more loss of life in this operation," he stated. "Understood, sir," he said, leaving the captain. In the holding, Carla continued to wait when she hears a soldier shouting, "A57!" Carla looked as 2 soldiers were coming to a cell. They came to hers and opened it. She panicked and tried to get away as they grabbed her and dragged her out of the cell. Carla struggled, trying to get free as they tied her to the floor. Carla was panicking and screaming, not in fear, but in frustration and anger. Then she saw them. A soldier with a dog collar was bringing an ugly, snarling walker right at her. She shook violently, trying to get free, but nothing was working. She looked and finally felt it. Fear. She was staring death right in the face as the walker came to her shoulder. An alarm went off, loudly going off, alerting everybody. The soldiers were frantically running to their stations. "Code 10! I repeat, we have a code 10!" They heard over and over as the soldiers began to leave the room, as one soldier was trying to take Carla back to her cell. She fought back, headbutting him, and grabbed his gun. They struggled for it as Carla used her free leg and tripped him. They fall to the ground as she pins him down. She slammed the gun on his neck. She held on tight and jumped up and down, back and forth, using the gun to crush him. She then heard his neck squish as she was breathing heavily. As she looked up, she saw another soldier stood on top of her. She had no chance. As the soldier squeezed the trigger, the shot was fired as Carla closed her eyes. She then heard something fall down and heard an angelic voice. "Carla?" Carla opened her eyes, seeing Rachel smiling back at her. Carla was beyond shocked and smiled wildly as the 2 women hugged one another. "You're okay. I'm so glad I found you." Carla was ecstatic. "What are you doing here? What are you wearing?" she asked. "It's a long story," she said, when suddenly they heard a loud boom sound and the lights go out. 2 minutes earlier, in the woods, Manny and Kat broke off from the horde as Benjamin sniped a few guards with his rifle, quietly killing them both. Benjamin then armed himself with the rocket launcher, strapping it on his back. "You're really gonna use that?" Tyler asked. "What am I saying? Of course you are," he stated. Benjamin shushed him as they stayed quiet as the massive horde was passing yards away. They stayed hidden as the walkers were near them. Benjamin then fired a flare by the wall of the facility, hitting it. Some of the other soldiers were starting to notice. "What's going on? I don't know, report it!" they screamed. The walkers were at the edge of the facility wall. "Here we go," Benjamin stated, holding a detonator, as one of the walkers in the front of the swarm had a bomb on his back. Benjamin then pressed the switch, blowing a massive hole into the floor. Inside the building, the wall completely caved in, destroying one of the rooms as a mass of blood spewed everywhere into the air, leaving a massive red stain on the building wall and floor. Benjamin got up, moving forward. "Stay close," he ordered. As the boys, they followed him. He saw a surviving soldier try to reach for his gun, but Benjamin fired into his head, killing him instantly as they walked past him. They walked up the pathway and opened the door. Benjamin aimed his gun and saw that it was clear as he went into the building. Behind him, Patrick, Chris, Manny, Kat, and many others followed in close pursuit. Captain Wells was running forward as it was complete chaos. He fired his gun and kicked a walker as the soldiers closed the doors. Everyone was asking what they should do as another soldier came running to him. "Sir, the dead have taken the west side of the facility, and Lieutenant Mitchell is nowhere to be found," he told them. Captain Wells took his radio. Attention command, this is Captain Wells of Civic Republic Military at Outpost 16A. We're under attack. Our test subjects are free, and we have armed assailants attacking our current position. Multiple KIAs. I repeat, this is Captain Wells of the CRM. Coordinates, 37 degrees, 55 minutes, 20 seconds north, 83 degrees, 15 minutes, 32 seconds west. Anyone listening to this, please respond. This is an SOS, he said, as Victor listened on the radio while driving. He quickly stops the car. Sir, what are your orders? A soldier asked. Lieutenant Wilson asked. He took his gun, cocking it. We'll kill all threats in the facility, dead or alive. Anyone you find, even the prisoners, take no chances, he ordered everyone. Humanity will win this fight. We are the last light, he screamed as everything cut to black.